What's going on, Jeromes? So the Vikings running game has been solid so far, spearheaded by duo Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. And by duo, I mean that Aaron Jones has done most of the work, right? But, Jones, being older as well as having health issues, having that hip issue, you need to get some depth, right? And Ty Chandler is fine in a subordinate role, but you knew that Kwesi, with the NFL trade deadline coming up, that he was going to make a couple of moves, right? And the Vikings waiving defensive lineman Jalen Redmond, him back on the practice squad, meant that the Vikings had an open 53-man rooster spot, and you knew that Kwesi was going to do a little something, and he did it. He did it. For the second straight year, the Vikings have traded for running back Cam Akers, which is absolutely hilarious on a number of levels, and also it's a deal that, in terms of price point, I love it. In terms of the caliber of the player, I love it. A guy who's familiar with Kevin O'Connell, going back to the Rams days, and I think it's a perfect solution, right? And Akers is going to cost the Vikings a 2026 conditional 6th-round pick. The Vikings get Akers as well as a conditional 7th-round pick. So it really is just a 2026 draft swap. PFF Vikings so far this season, Akers 151 rushing yards, 105 yards after contact, as well as 10 missed tackles forced. He's still got some shiftiness, even coming off of that second Achilles surgery. And, the Cam Akers story, back in the day, 2020 second-round pick out of Florida State, and he kind of was in that Dalvin Cook mold. I mean, not just because he's a Florida State running back, but solid in outside zone, decent pass protector, solid receiver as well. And the Vikings, after Kyrie Williams had took over for the Rams last year, the Vikings made a move last year, another swap in 2026 draft pick. So in the 2026 draft, there will be 2 trades of draft pick swaps of Cam Akers twice. It's funny, man. And Cam came in solid for a couple of games as the Vikings tried to get that running game going, but unfortunately he tore his Achilles, second Achilles tear that he's had in his career, on the opposite foot this time. So he now has 2 surgically repaired Achilles, but he busted his ass all off season. He's working at the training house, and you're thinking, okay, once he passes his physical, he's going to re-sign with the Vikings and it's going to be good to go. And that's exactly what was reported over 4th of July weekend, where Akers was going to be re-signed pending his physical, but then nothing official happened, and then he signed with the Texans. And that's his prerogative. Like, I fully understand it, because if you look at the Vikings, they had Aaron Jones, Ty Chandler, etc. Also, they had King Kene at the time. So they're thinking, okay, I'm going to take my chances with the Texans because, they have Joe Mixon and Damian Pierce and Dare Ogunlowale that nailed it. Okay, like maybe I'll get my opportunity there. And when Mixon and Pierce went down with injury, Akers started a couple games, so he did get his opportunity there. But the main issue with Akers has been that health. Like, when he's healthy, like, he's pretty damn dynamic and pretty solid. But he's only played 41 career games. This is his 5th NFL season, which, like, the talent is there. The multi-dimensional threat is certainly there as well. Plus, since he's on a league minimum deal, I mean, the Vikings it's no muss, no fuss in terms of the cap. So what does Cam Akers bring? It's funny because this graphic is what we use from when he was supposedly signing over 4th of July. Experience in the Kevin O'Connell type offense, both with the Rams as well as with the Vikings last year. A solid outside zone runner, capable receiver, good pass protector as well. And it is a zero risk, high reward spot. Plus, he's only 25 years old. All right, he turned 25 in June, so he still has a couple years of football left in him, even though the running back position. And also, hey, maybe his injuries might be a blessing in disguise because that's a little less mileage on the body. Who knows, man? But also, him coming back from a second time from major Achilles surgery, it shows grit, it shows toughness. Love me some Cam Akers, man. So the Vikings running back depth right now. So Aaron Jones is a stud, and we've advocated putting him on the pitch count so that he's healthy later on in the season. I think that maybe that hip issue with the Jets, it was a wake-up call because he's going to be fine, but involving Chandler, involving Akers more, maybe even the veteran Myles Gaskin, you got to do something, man, because I understand it's really tempting because Aaron Jones has looked so damn good and explosive and is among the league leaders of yards after contact. But, I mean, there's a reason why he's never been a sole workhorse, and also he's had health issues throughout his career. So managing his contact, managing his workload, Cam Akers, I think, really would help out in that regard. So I just freaking like only the Vikings would trade for the same player 2 straight years. It's funny, but I love me some Cam Akers, and I think this is a very smart move by Kwesi. And also the Vikings, no muss, no fuss. Late round pick swap. Who cares? But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings trade for Cam Akers. Again, let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skol, production value.